In the early hours of this morning, following a call from neighbours, officers forced entry into a house here in Delaford Road. Inside the house, they made a dreadful discovery of 4 people who had been stabbed. Despite the best efforts of officers and paramedics, all 4 people were sadly pronounced dead at the scene. I can confirm that the deceased were 3 women, believed to be aged in their mid-60s, 40s and 30s, and 1 man believed to be aged in their mid-60s.
Boy, when it rains, it pours, yes? These headlines that says a Jamaican family, 4 members killed all at once in London, England, or in the UK rather, in southeast London, all of them killed by stabbing. We got to talk about this one. So you got to hear about the details in this. You know, you run away from Jamaica and you think, boy, Jamaica full of violence right now and there's limited opportunities. I could go overseas and spread my wings and become the best me I can be, exploit some of these opportunities, and trouble reach you. Affarin like this. I've done my little investigation, and so far I've gathered from the Jamaica Observer that it suggests that this family hails from St. Thomas in Jamaica. But here are the details. All right, according to the World News, the knife man that was accused of slaying 3 generations of the same amazing family in southeast London home, he was tasered by the police, who arrived within 5 minutes of hearing horrifying screams throughout the community coming from that property and into the streets at 1:30 a.m. in the morning. The neighbors heard a whole lot of screaming, people screaming at the top of their lungs. Something is really wrong. Everybody started calling the police. Police was not too far away, and they arrived within 5 minutes, and they tasered him and took him in alive. I'm thinking to myself, if this was the United States of America and they came and you just killed 4 people inside, they would have shot you to death, right? Now, anyhow, the suspect, who is in his 20s, he knew the 4 murder victims killed in Bermondsey, including recently retired NHS nurse Dollet Hill, 64 years old, who is a matriarch who was winning her fight against cancer, and she was dedicated herself to charity work and her Christian faith. This woman had cancer, my friend, and she was beating the cancer, and she just retired, and she worked sometimes as something else sometimes, but she just retired as an NHS nurse after how many years of working at the hospital. Miss Hill, she died along with her partner, who is Denton Burke, her daughter, who is Tanisha Drummonds, and her granddaughter, who is Samantha Drummonds, after the attack in the early hours of yesterday morning. I'm trying to figure out, this 20-something-year-old young man, was this a family member that was on drugs and lost his mind? Because we recently got another story like this out of the UK, and it was a young man who killed his grandmother and did all kinds of weird things, had sex with her corpse and everything like that. And then he confessed to the police that what he did. But his psychosis came from heavy drug use, and also he was schizophrenic. Now, back to this story. The man believed to have killed them was tasered by the police, who then pinned him to the ground and arrested him. He is in custody at a South London police station today. I'm eager to find out why he did that. Why he took out so many family members. Was he himself a family member, or was this someone that, they helped and trusted or whatever? Anyhow, a neighbor told the Times of Miss Hill and Mr. Burke. They were amazing people. They never had problems in the house. I've been living here for years right next to them. They never ever had any issues. She did lots and lots of charity work. I believe she was a nurse or a carer. This is the neighbor talking about them, right? She was fighting cancer. She was doing her treatments, and she was super happy because she was winning her battle. The cancer was leaving her body. They were religious people, very religious, but she's been very sick. And so I don't know how active they were as far as active in the church because she was sick and, can't make it to church and those prior meetings and those Sunday services and whatnot. Scotland Yard detectives are continuing to quiz the suspect, trying to find out about this situation, what caused it. 4 people stabbed to death at the family's £600,000 home, just yards from the Millwall FC stadium. A friend of Tracy Henry, her other daughter, said that Tracy is absolutely devastated right now. She can't talk to anyone. She's lost 4 members of her family all at once. Why it happened, we don't know. It's a really bad time for all of us right now. So a relative of Dalet previously confirmed that she was one of 4 people found dead at a terraced home in Bermondsey in the early hours of that morning. Dalet was a local NHS hospital she worked at and was undergoing treatment for cancer. Mail Online revealed that information yesterday. Samantha Drummonds had gone to spend a week away from her flat, and it was being renovated, and that's why she left. It was being renovated and redecorated. She was spending time with her mother, grandmother, and her other relatives in Southwark. Dalet Hill, in the multicolored dress, her daughter, Tanisha Drummonds, with her arm around her, and her other daughter, Tracy Henry, in the picture that you are looking at. Grandmother Dalet Hill, 64 years old. Her daughter, Tanisha Drummonds, her granddaughter, Samantha Drummonds, pictured, and her partner, Denton Burke, all stabbed to death in the South London home. Police arrived at their 3rd floor flat 5 miles away in Forest Hill yesterday morning and were inside the property until at least 4 p.m. this afternoon. Now, her flat's being worked on, right? Talk about being at the wrong place at the wrong time. All she said was, one of her friends said, she just looked at me and said, I can't stay here. I don't want to stay here while they're doing the renovation. So I'm going to go stay with my family for a week. And I'll see you when I get back, yeah? So friend and neighbor, Berta Brumbot, 17, told Mail Online that Samantha is having some work done in her flat. And she's having the bathroom and the hallways renovated and redecorated. She didn't want to stay in the flat while the work was being done. So the last thing she said to me was, I'm going away for a week and I'll see you when I get back, yeah? She took her cat and she left. A relative of Dalet confirmed that she was one of 4 people who were killed in that house in Bermondsey. I thought nothing of it until when the police turned up. It was about 7 a.m. A few of the officers knocked on our door and asked us if we knew Samantha, or if we knew Samantha where she was, and if we had any contact details for her. I gave them her number and they rang the phone, and I rang the phone myself a few times, but there was no answer. She had been living in the block for about 5 years. She used to work at NatWest Bank, I think. She's really friendly, really good people. I know that she used to go and stay with her dad and her auntie in Southwark quite a bit, but I don't know much about her family. Another neighbor said the police knocked around and asked if I'd heard from Samantha over the last 24 hours or so. They told me that there had been a concern for her welfare made by someone in Southwark, which is where I know she has family at. Why would someone say that to the police about concern for her life in Southwark? Could this also be a case of she's the one that knows this 20-something-year-old and he stalked her and came to where she was at staying with her family and ended up stabbing them and killing them and her? because something must have sparked this altercation. I'm just saying, it's a wild thought of mine, and I'll follow this story through and see where it goes. The neighbor says the last time I spoke to her was a few days ago when I called her and we spoke about that work she was having done at her flat. It's terrible that she may have been caught up in this. She's really popular in the block because she is someone who always stops to talk to you and ask how you doing, how things are going, and all that. Meanwhile, a friend who has known Dalet for 23 years told how she was a dedicated churchgoer who helped poor children in Africa. She said, "It's awful. I'm still in shock. Dalet and her family were such nice people. Dalit used to go on charity missions to Ghana and give children who had lost their parents clothing, food, and toys and all that. She was a keen churchgoer and she would help anyone who needed it. Her niece said that Miss Hill had 2 daughters and 2 grandchildren, while locals said that she worked as a housekeeper at the nearby Guy's Hospital in Southwark. One neighbor said she was a lovely lady. She worked at Guy's Hospital as a housekeeper. She was also having treatment for her cancer, and I can't believe that this has happened to her. I live close to her, and I didn't hear a thing until I saw all the police outside her house. I know she has 2 daughters. My heart goes out to her family. It's such an awful, awful thing to happen." Another one added, "My friend knew Dalet as she used to work with her at Guy's Hospital. She's originally from Jamaica, but she has been living here for a while. I couldn't see what happened but from my house, but I could see that the police and the paramedics had taken at least 2 bodies into the streets and were working on them, trying to resuscitate them or save them. Miss Hill's niece, Venetia Reed, paid tribute and said that she didn't deserve this, telling reporters near the scene that she was very loving, very kind, very generous, and she worked very hard in this country to support her 2 girls and her 2 grandkids. She does not deserve this." Dalet Hill was discovered alongside 2 adult female relatives. She had 2 daughters and 2 grandchildren. Forensic tents on the scene off Delaford Road in Bermondsey, southeast London, after the alleged murder. Detectives are investigating the death of the 4 people, and they have the person who did it in custody, and they're trying to figure out right now why he did what he did. Apparently, he's not talking. He's not saying much to them. He's not telling them, I went crazy or I'm on drugs or anything like that. So they're going to have to continue to question him and continue to wait. Or maybe, just maybe, family members can come out and speak up and say, yeah, we know him. He's someone who used to come by and, help the family, or he was in love with what's her name and that's her stalker man or something. Right now, we have no idea why he did what he did. We just know that 4 members of the same family are dead. And they seem to be a group of people who worked in healthcare, right? From an NHS nurse to housekeeper to caretaker, as the title would say. Man, it's devastating, heartbreaking. And anybody who has to go through this, losing 4 valuable family members carelessly all at once, this must be one of the events. You know, they have a saying that says that all of us can go insane. All of us can slip into psychosis. All it takes is 3 events happening back to back to back. 3 catastrophic events happening back to back to back. For instance, you lose your mom who you're close to. 2 days later or a week later, you lose your dad. And then another week from that, you lose one of your children or your only child or your best friend or you get the drift, right? And this can cause a human mind to break and you to experience something that is called psychosis. Whoever is going through this at this moment, man, all I can say is I'm sending my healing powers and my deepest condolences, because this is just horrible. Life of foreign not easy. And to work all them years, right? And to keep your family together, and to end up fighting cancer and on the road to remission, beating it, and then to go out like this. Sad situation. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about this one. And if you know anything about the case, or you know anything about this young man in his 20s who the police is saying is responsible for this, then leave that comment too, and let's talk more, because I really, really want to know why. I'll be staying on top of this story and giving you a follow-up. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Click the bell next to the subscribe button so you're notified every time a new video goes up and every time we do a follow-up to one of these stories. All right? Catch you on the next video with SouFLoTV. I'm out. Peace. It's Eat Good TV, y'all. If you like Jamaican food but you're struggling to cook it the right way, then here's a channel that gives it to you step by step. You are guaranteed to be able to cook Jamaican food like a real Jamaican from this channel called Eat Good TV. Go over to Eat Good TV, hit that subscribe button, and try cooking one of those meals. She is real calm about how she does her stuff, and she makes sure that you get all the ingredients right. Eat Good TV. Hit that subscribe button over there and tell them SouFLoTV sent you. I've cooked a couple of meals off of Eat Good TV. Not because I can't cook Jamaican food, because I am a Jamaican myself, but because sometimes I like to see something that I like cooked a different way. So nobody tell the lady that she can't cook, because that is not how you cook it. We all cook it different way. Just go to Eat Good TV, hit that subscribe button, and tell her I sent you.